Hi folks. Well, what shall we talk about today? A few weeks ago I made a video called Gatekeepers of the Galaxy. It got a lot of reviews, ruffled a little feathers, got a lot of hate mail, some threats, more hate. You know, what else is new in this world? It's funny because I'm here making a video about stopping the hate and it just amped it up. So I did something wrong. I don't know what. Someone said that Brian from Tashi Station actually responded on a tweet saying, you know, I was harassing him in the YouTube video, linked my video. And I was thinking, that's weird. But I thought maybe he was talking about someone else until one of you showed me this tweet where he's basically explaining that his video email abuser is in San Francisco and video harasser is in Louisiana. I got to be honest, folks, it took me 3 days to, you know, scrub that target off my back in the shower. It really hurts. Kind of raw. Ugh, ugh. But, and then some of his followers had this to say, you know, about, you know, them dealing with the email abuser and then getting in the car for Louisiana right now. I'll meet you there. And I know a few of you sent me those screenshots, saying, Matt, we're worried about your safety, man. People are making threats about you. Newsflash, that's nothing new, and those are actually the lightest of the threats I've ever gotten. And if one guy wrote, getting mad, he's a fan of Tashi Station and whatnot, and he wrote, a nice letter that we tried to read on the podcast, and it was so filled with dirty words and slurs that, you know, we really couldn't read any of it. Now, to be honest, again, that kind of shocked me. I was like, wait, me? You know, it's kind of weird thinking about that. And let me just kind of go back with how this whole thing started. Some people had reached out to me and said, Matt, what do you think about this guy, Brian from Tashi Station? He's, you know, belittling the EU movement. He makes fun of it every chance he can get. He did a tweet about the billboard before the billboard came out and made a joke like, you know, everyone's going to see that billboard and say, what does the European Union have anything to do with Star Wars? Thinking that it just said EU. He didn't know what the billboard was going to say. Which, yeah, that's a little snarky. I agree. But that's still not what got me. It's what got me was this tweet that was sent out in response to that, basically showing him what the billboard would look like. And then his response was that he's gotten a lot of death threats, racial and homophobic slurs, and months of target harassment. He said, plan on addressing that. And then Brian, the other Brian, responds and says, it's pathetic that people take those actions. You know, you're not the only one receiving threats, meaning the EU movement have too. He said, sure, but your group is actively harboring these individuals. Unless you as a whole do something about it, you're complicit. I disagree with that, respectfully disagree with that, because I honestly do not hold Brian from Tashi Station accountable for any of the emails I've received from folks from his fan base who are using those same racial and homophobic slurs. I definitely do not think that represents anything Brian stands for. Reviewing back through what I've read about him, seems like a really nice guy. I'm sticking to what I said in the last video. But anyway, I'd seen that and I was like, whoa, who is this guy? You know, and I'm getting a little upset about it. So I go to do my homework on him and look at his website, and it's actually really good. Has a lot of great stuff there. And I saw those articles that I read, and I thought they were so good, and I agreed 100% with it. In fact, one of his listeners told me, said, hey, Matt, you know, you and Brian have a lot more in common than you think, you know, because he had seen some of my videos, and he said, you guys are almost the same. I was like, yeah, I believe that, looking at, his website. And folks, I really do think he likes the EU. I mean, I read those. So the reason I didn't give his name away at the beginning of that video was because for a few people who are watching it, expecting me to, you know, really bash Brian, if I would have said, listen to these excellent articles that he wrote, some people would shut down, right? Oh, I'm not caring about anything he says. And so I liked it better when it was a big reveal. It was like a Scooby-Doo ending, right? It's like, oh no, it's not. It was Old Man Habersham the whole time. To pretend Brian's some big scary EU hater, I just didn't see it and showed it in the video. Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be mocking the fans as much, but I mean, he did get some hate at DragonCon. I actually made a video about that. condemning the person who, assaulted Brian. That's not the way anyone in the movement should think. And you've seen any of my videos, I've only said it like 1 billion times. Make sure to be very respectful in any comments, okay? It's fine to disagree with someone, but be respectful, Don't use the wordy dirge. We don't on this channel. For that express purpose. It doesn't get anything across. Doesn't get your message across. It muddies your message when you say stuff like that. Folks, Brian actually put on his website a few weeks ago that he was stepping down temporarily due to depression and anxiety. And I hate that. I have some friends who suffered from it too. And folks, if you know people, that's a serious thing. It could take months, years to help out, and you got to be encouraging. And he said he's gotten a lot of discouraging people saying, yeah, you deserved it, or I hope it stays, or whatever. Yuck, you should never be like that. But of course, that's the internet, right? The internet's a cruel, cruel place. Someone actually made fun of me for being Southern. Like, that's a really bad thing, obviously. I'm supposed to die a horrible death because of it. It's weird. People have made fun of different things I've done too. It's never fun. It's never fun being harassed by people. So you shouldn't be harassing Brian over it. I just like I said in Gatekeepers of the Galaxy, no one should be a gatekeeper, even EU fans. You want to think we're better than other fans, but like I said, it's an opinion. It is an opinion. I love the EU. In my opinion, it's the best they'll ever be. Guess what, folks? That's not everyone's opinion. I understand that, and I'm fine with that. And you should be too. And I guess I'm not really talking to my subscribers, because from what I've seen on my channel, you guys have been super respectful to one another when debating certain issues and topics, and I want you to know I appreciate that. I don't really chime in that much. I just let y'all, debate. But I have always noticed y'all been very respectful to each other, and that means a lot to me. Thank you for doing that. If you see other people who are like, yeah, screw that Brian guy or whatever, you should definitely discourage them as well. Say, hey man, that's not what we're about. We're about just continuing the expanded universe, right? Even if it has to go as an alternate storyline, I'm super fine with that. We got a billboard up. We got good juju going right now, right? Everyone's supporting us. People are being very, very, very supportive. And it's time for us to be supportive of one another. I actually put a comment on Chuck Wendig's blog post saying, hey, thanks. Thanks for supporting the billboard. And I meant that. I actually sent a letter off to Brian at Tashi Station saying, look, I'm so sorry this has happened to you. If you feel I've done something, please respond, tell me what it is and I'll correct it. I didn't hear back from him, but he's a busy man. He may not want to talk. I don't know where he got the idea I'm going to Dragon Con, though. That's really weird, because I haven't been to Dragon Con in, gosh, I think it's been 2 years now. I think Dragon Con's awesome and everything, and yeah, I'd love to go just to meet Brian, maybe hash things out, because again, folks, I'm going to go back to what I said in Gatekeepers of the Galaxy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't. I think, remember I even said that I may be missing something. Well, if he has depression, anxiety, well, yeah. He had a bad experience at Dragon Con. We know it happened. We knew the guy that actually did that and got on to him and say, no, that's not what we're about. So he had one bad experience, and maybe his problems just was like, okay, well, he labeled everyone within that movement the same way. I've had bad experiences with people from, who listen to Tashi Station. Do I think that everyone is like that? No, I think they're chock full of good people. Honestly, folks, I really do. I wouldn't even quoted all that stuff and told you how much I agree with it if I didn't think that. When you're on a certain platform and you have an audience, you're going to have people who are going to hate you. I believe it when Chuck Wendig, Brian say that they have people harassing them, making threats against them, because I've had it too. Even on the very super small stage I am on. I have even had people send me threats come a lot, and harassment comes every day. I take in harassment like I take in air. It comes naturally now. But it's going to happen for people who have an audience. Not everyone is going to agree with you. It's not right. But the only thing that we can do as fans is discourage others from doing it. All right, because I would never support anyone going off and attacking these other people. Remember, I've even said in the Rebel Raids to be polite in your comments, be respectful in your comments. You need to be. No one's going to listen to someone who's just yelling, cussing, calling out people's names. It's not going to work that way. Folks, we can work together and we can have all fans, Star Wars for all fans, right? Feel like a politician now. Star Wars for everyone. And that's what we want. We want Star Wars for everyone, right? What's more Legend stories going to hurt anyway? They had Infinity stories for years and, you know, 2 different canons. No one was confused. The fans are a lot smarter than that. And I think as long as we work together, we keep things positive, it'll all work out in the end. All right, folks. I'll see you later. Oh, and by the way, anyone who wants to come down and deal with me in Louisiana, you should come. The weather's great. It's crawfish season. There's lots of good food here. You can even come over to my house. We can play some board games and you can deal with me afterwards.